introduction first. The fore and hind limbs were evolved basically for bearing the weight of the body and for locomotion, as is seen in quadrupeds, example cow and dogs. The two pairs of limbs are therefore built on the same basic principle. Each limb is made up of a basal segment or girdle and a free part divided into proximal, middle and distal segments. The girdle attaches the limb to the axial skeleton. The distal segment carries 5 digits. Table 1.1 shows homologous part of upper and lower limbs. However, with the evolution of the erect posture in man, the function of weight bearing was taken over by the lower limbs. Thus, the upper limb, especially the hands, become free and gradually evolved into organs having a great manipulative skills. This has become possible because of a wide range of mobility at the shoulders. The whole upper limb works as a jointed lever. The human hand is a grasping tool. It is exquisitely adaptable to perform various complex functions under the control of a large area of the brain. The unique position of man as a master mechanic of the animal world is because of the skilled movement of his hands. Let us see the homologous parts of the limbs. Upper limb and lower limb. Shoulder girdle is homologous with hip girdle. Shoulder joint, hip joint. Arm with humerus, thigh with femur. Elbow joint, knee joint. Foramen with radius and ulna, leg with tibia and fibula. Wrist joint, ankle joint. Hand with carpus, metacarpus, 5 digits. Foot with tarsus, metatarsus, 5 digits. Parts of upper limb. It has been seen that the upper limb is made up of 4 parts. Shoulder region, second arm or branchium, foramen or antebranchium, and hand or manus. Further subdivision of this part are given in table 1.2 and figure 1.1. Let us see the shoulder region includes the pectoral or breast region of the front of the chest, the axilla or armpit, the scapular region of the back comprising parts around the scapula. The bone of the shoulder girdle are the clavicle and scapula. Of this, only the clavicle articulates with the axial skeleton at the sternoclavicular joint. The scapula Of this, only the clavicle articulates with the axial skeleton at the sternoclavicular joint. The scapula is mobile and is held in position by muscles. The clavicle and scapula articulate with each other at the acromioclavicular joint. The upper arm branchium extends from the shoulder to the elbow. That is called as cubitus. The bone of the arm is the humerus. Its upper end meets the scapula and forms the shoulder joint. The shoulder joint permits movement of the arm. The forearm, antebranchium, extends from the elbow to the wrist. The bones of the forearm are the radius and the ulna. At their upper end, they meet the lower end of the humerus to form the elbow joint. Their lower end meet the carpal bones to form the wrist joint. The radius and the ulna meet each other at the radio-ulnar joint. The elbow joint permits movement of the forearm, namely flexion and extension. The radio-ulnar joint permits rotatory movement of the forearm called pronation and supination. In a mid-flexed elbow, the palm faces upward in supination and downward in pronation. During the last movement, the radius rotates around the ulna. Let us see the table 1.2, parts of the upper limb. In this we will see the parts, subdivision, bones and then joints. Part shoulder region. It is divided into pectoral region of the front of the chest, axilla or armpit, scapular region of the back, on the back. Bones. Bones in shoulder girdle, clavicle, scapula, joint. Sternoclavicular joint, acromyoclavicular joint. Upper arm from shoulder to the elbow. The bones in this is humerus, that is scapulohumeral joint, shoulder joint. Foramen, anterosentium from the elbow to the wrist. The bones are radius and ulna joint, elbow joint, radio-ulnar joint. For hand, subdivision is wrist, hand proper, 5-digit numbered from lateral to the medial side. First, thumb or pollex, second, index finger or forefinger, third, middle finger, fourth is ring finger, and fifth is little finger. Let us see the bones. Carpus made up of 8 carpels, metacarpal made up of 5 metacarpal bones, 14 phalanges, 2 for the thumb and 3 for each of the 4 fingers. Let us see the joints. Carpometacarpal joint, intermetacarpal joint, metacarpophalangeal joint, proximal and distal interphalangeal joint. The hand manus include the wrist or carpus supported by 8 carpal bones arranged in 2 rows. The hand proper or metacarpus supported by 5 metacarpal bones. 5-digit thumb and forefinger. Each finger is supported by 3 phalanges, but the thumb has only 2 phalanges. There being 14 phalanges in all. The carpal bone form the wrist joint with the radius, intercarpal joint with one another, and carpometacarpal joint with the metacarpals. The phalanges form metacarpophalangeal joint with the metacarpals and interphalangeal joint with one another. Movement of the hand are permitted chiefly at the wrist joint. The thumb moves at the first carpometacarpal joint, where an exclusive movement of opposition beside the other usual movement are permitted. Each of the second to the 5th digit move at the metacarpophalangeal, proximal and distal interphalangeal joint. Figure 1.2 and flowchart 1.1 show the line of force transmission. Let us see the line of force transmission. Force weight on hand, wrist joint, radius, interosseous membrane, ulna, elbow joint, humerus, then shoulder, scapula, coracoclavicular ligament, clavicle, sternoclavicular joint, then sternum, then the reference goes to axial skeleton. In this way, we see in the introduction part of foremost of ladies' Thank you.